you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about all the books that I'm hoping to read in April, or books that I just think I will be in the mood to read, kind of like my soft TBR. I have been including these in my like monthly bookish reset videos that I have been making, but I've been like going back and forth between making them a separate video or continuing to just include them in the monthly wrap up, because I am going to continue to make the monthly wrap up videos, but I just thought this month I'll try and make it a separate video. You guys just let me know what you like better, because I keep going back and forth and I don't know what I want to do. So first things first, let me know if you prefer to have the monthly TBRs or like soft TBRs. I don't know, I'm not doing like hard TBRs this year. I'm kind of just like pulling out books that I think that I will be in the mood for, so that they're like at the forefront of my brain, because I have this little TBR shelf right here. So I just want those books to sit there, so they're like in front of my face, and I remember that I want to get to those soon if I'm in the mood for them. But anyway, yeah, let me know if you prefer to have the monthly soft TBR videos as a separate video or just included in the monthly wrap-up videos, first and foremost, because I can't decide and I need your guys' opinion. But anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about today, is just books that I am looking forward to hopefully maybe reading in April, books that I think I'm going to be in the mood for, books that I'm currently in the mood for, that I want to read soon, and that's literally it. So I do love TBR videos though. I love watching TBR videos because you can find so many good book recommendations, or also be reminded of books that you might also have on your shelf that you want to add to your TBR, or books that you want to go out and buy. So I am very excited to be filming this. But speaking of buying things and shopping, I would really quickly like to thank Cooper for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Cooper is a free extension designed to save money while shopping effortlessly. Their automatic coupon testing service is supported by over 3 million retailers and is super easy to use. All you do is click the link in my description to download Cooper for free and then register your account. Once you have made your account and you're done shopping, all you do is click the Cooper extension button on the checkout page, and that is what is going to activate their automatic coupon testing function, which is basically where Cooper will automatically find and apply all the best coupon codes to save money on your online shopping. Cooper supports Chrome, Safari on both desktop and mobile, Edge, Opera, and also Firefox. Obviously on my channel we all know I love shopping. I am always online shopping specifically. So I personally love the convenience of Cooper's automatic coupon testing, because then I get to save extra money without actually having to do the work of going out and trying to find all the different promo codes and coupons. And along with all the extra savings, Cooper also supports cashback from over 76,000 retailers. A couple of my favorites that I've been able to find cashback offers for on Cooper are Barnes & Noble, Book Outlet, and also Walmart. Your cashback rewards can be redeemed via gift card, PayPal, or bank card, and they typically take an average of 15 days to process. So the more that you shop using Cooper, the faster your cashback is received. With all that being said, start using Cooper now to save money and avoid paying full price in 2025 by clicking the link in my description to download the Cooper extension for free. And thank you again so much to Cooper for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Moving right along, let's get right into some of the books that I want to hopefully maybe get to in the month of April. Starting off actually with two books that are in the same series. We have Legendary and Finale by Stephanie Garber. If you don't know, these are the last two books in the Caraval trilogy. I read Caraval, I want to say it was like December of 2023. I'm pretty sure, so it's been a long time since I have read Caraval. I read it in like the very beginning of my reading journey. I think at that point I had only been reading for like 2 months or something. So I read Caraval so long ago, and literally the only reason that I was even like interested in reading this trilogy is because I wanted to read Once Upon a Broken Heart, and a lot of people recommend that you read the Caraval trilogy before you read Once Upon a Broken Heart, because if you end up deciding to want to read the Caraval trilogy after you've read Once Upon a Broken Heart, there are things that apparently might be spoiled for you. You also meet some of the characters, well, not some, I think you meet only one of the characters from Once Upon a Broken Heart in this trilogy, so a lot of people just recommend to read this first. So I ended up picking up Caraval, and when I read it, I think I rated it like a 3.75, I'm pretty sure. So it was good, it was entertaining, but it was not something that I was necessarily like obsessed with. Like I know that there are so many people that just like love this trilogy and like are obsessed with it, and I just thought it was okay. I thought it was entertaining. I like wasn't obsessed with it. I honestly was a little bit disappointed, but I think I had too high of hopes going into it, and also like I hadn't really read that much fantasy in general at that point, so I just think I didn't really know what to expect even. So yeah, I don't know. Because it wasn't what I expected and I wasn't automatically just like super obsessed with it when I read it, I never ended up picking the second two books up in the trilogy, but all the time I see my Once Upon a Broken Heart books right there and I want to read them so bad, but I literally just, I can't read them without finishing this trilogy, and maybe that's a little bit toxic of me. I have to. Like, I literally have to. I think it's just because so many people have said read the Caraval trilogy first. Now it's like a mental block. I literally can't read Caraval without reading this. So I really, really, really want to hopefully read these in the month of April so that I can get to Once Upon a Broken Heart, because yesterday I just decided to open up Once Upon a Broken Heart and read the first couple pages just so I can like see what the vibes are. And within just the first couple pages, I could already tell, like, I feel like I'm really going to love Once Upon a Broken Heart. I feel like just the writing style already, you can tell from the first few pages, it's just very like magical, whimsical storytelling vibes, and I love that so much, like the magical fairy kind of forest vibes. Like, I love that so much. And it's very different than this because this is kind of giving like dark forest whimsy, if that makes sense. So I am extra motivated to try and get through this because I picked that up and I was like, this already, like, I want to read it so bad. So that is my motivation to hopefully read these. To be completely honest, I don't even really remember a whole lot from what happened in Caraval, so I'm either going to try and like reread the last few chapters, or maybe I'll look up like if someone has done like a plot breakdown just so I can get like a reminder of all the most important plot points from that book to continue on the series. So those are the first two books on my little soft TBR. I really hope that I get to these because I want to read the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy this year. I want to read the whole thing by the end of this year, so hopefully we are able to get to those. I don't know. After that, I have Binding 13. You guys, I am so tired of putting this on my TBR and then not reading it. At this point, I have been trying to read this for so long, and it's not even like I started reading it and I'm like not interested in it, because I did start reading this and I got like, I don't know, 4 chapters in, which these chapters are long, so honestly that's like a good chunk into the book, but I got quite a ways in. I was loving the vibes. Like, I remember before I started this, I was a little bit worried that it was gonna feel too YA because they are like in high school still, and so I was just like, I don't know if as a 26-year-old I will be able to be encapsulated by a story that follows teenagers in high school. Like, I just don't know if that's a vibe for me, if I'll be able to emotionally connect and get invested. But it does not, at least so far, read super YA. The characters don't feel super juvenile. I feel like already just in the beginning of the book you're introduced to a lot of their conflicts, getting introduced to a lot of their backstory, and they are like really going through a lot of really mature, I mean not mature, just like very real life struggles. You know what I'm saying? So in that way, I feel like it doesn't feel super juvenile because the things that they're dealing with are very real life issues. You know what I'm saying? But the reason that I ended up stopping this is because I was on TikTok and I started to read like the caption of this TikTok that was about this series, and I thought sure that what I read was like a ginormous spoiler for this series, but I was talking to Emmy on YouTube. She is What Emmy Reads. But I was talking to her about how I really want to read this series, but as soon as I went to start it, I saw the spoiler, and I like told her what the spoiler was that I thought I saw, and she was like, I don't know if that is right, and that's all I'm gonna say about that, but I don't think it will spoil things as bad as what you're thinking. So I think that either I panicked and I read the TikTok incorrectly. It just made me so upset that I was like, I'm not reading this. But Bestie Emmy has kind of made me want to give this another try because she just read the entire thing and loved it. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to give this another try. I was really, really liking it. That's why I was like so disappointed whenever I got what I thought was a huge spoiler on TikTok, because I was like, it's taking me so long to get into this series. I finally got into it. I'm really liking it, and then, you know. But anyway, we're gonna try again. Hopefully I'm still loving the vibes as much as I was whenever I started it. I think I started it in January. So it's been a decent amount of time. We're gonna give it another try, and hopefully we can get there. Especially because Chloe Walsh just announced that she is releasing another book in this series, I think in May. I'm pretty sure in May, which that's kind of crazy because I feel like that's such a late announcement to just be like, hey, there's a book coming out in 2 months. Like, that's kind of crazy. But honestly, it's probably just because her fandom is so big that it's like, do I even need the promo? That's kind of like a flex, honestly. Anyway, after that, we have a couple of books that were actually on my, what month was it last month? March? We have a couple of books that were on my March soft TBR that I didn't end up getting to, but not because I didn't want to read them, but because I ran out of time. Because last month I was finishing up the Throne of Glass series, and I read a couple of arcs. So like the Throne of Glass series itself, that is like, all the books are so long. And then I was just like reading other things, so I just simply did not have the time. But I wanted to keep them on my TBR shelf because I still am very much in the mood to read all of these, and I'm not ready to have them leave the shelf yet. So first up, we have Savor It by Tara DeWitt. I want to read this so bad. I honestly am very sad that I didn't get to this one last month, but it's okay. I am so excited for this. So if you don't know, last month I read Left of Forever by her, which is her new release. If you have not heard of that yet, put it on your TBRs right now. I'm telling you, she has very quickly become one of my top 3 romance authors just from that book. That book was a 6-star romance for me. It was so good. I cannot shut up about it. It was so good. I can't wait for it to come out so I can buy a copy and put it on my shelf. But this is actually the first book that comes in the series, so I'm kind of reading it backwards. It's a small town romance, interconnected little. One thing that I loved about her writing in Left of Forever is it was very much like rom-com, silly, goofy, fun, flirty, but then it had such a like running theme that was like deep and emotional, if that makes sense. So I have found that that is one thing I love in romance books, is like I want it to be fun and like silly, but I also really do need like a deep emotional connection. I feel like because it's not like a fantasy where there's like an entire plot going on, there's like an entire world going on, because it's just like based around the characters' relationship, if that's all that's going on. I mean, a lot of romance books do kind of have like a little side plot of something going on, but it's not the same as like a fantasy side plot. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like because of that, I really need like deep, emotional, moving relationship storyline and like emotion storyline, if that makes sense, in romance books. And so far, Tara DeWitt has delivered. So I'm very, very excited to read this one. This one, I believe, follows 2 neighbors. One is like a grumpy chef who just moved in from the city to this small town, and then the female main character, she like grew up in this small town and she's like trying to protect her small town. So it's like a little rivals. I guess it wouldn't be rivals to lovers. It's like, I mean, they're not enemies. They live in a small town. They're gonna fall in love. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they dislike each other for those reasons, but they're gonna fall for each other. And what I was talking about, like in Left of Forever, it follows a divorced couple trying to reconnect. So that was kind of like the underlying theme for that one. But this one, I was reading like the front little, it's not like the dedication, it's just like the Dear Reader section. I don't know what that section of the book is called, but let me read this to you because I feel like from this I can get the sense of like what the underlying theme is going to be. So it says, Dear Reader, while this story is full of warmth, love, and humor, it's also balanced with some heavier and more sensitive topics. A theme I find important to represent in all my books is that sometimes life interrupts our plans with little regard for them. Additionally, even when our best laid plans do come to fruition, sometimes those successes lead to burnout because we only feel added pressure with each achievement and forget to take time to savor the good. I just got chills just from that because that is so real. And in her last book too, even in just the Dear Reader section, I was like, why do I want to underline some of the stuff? And the book hasn't even started yet. So anyway, I am really, really, really excited to read this. This is a 5-star prediction for me for sure. I cannot wait to read this. And I also want to go back and read, there's 2 other ones that she's written. There's The Co-op and Funny Feelings. I also do want to read both of those as well. So I'm so excited. After that, we have Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. This is House of Earth and Blood, which is the first book in the Crescent City series. I can't believe that I'm finally on Crescent City. Like, who here remembers whenever I was just starting ACOTAR? That's crazy. It feels like so long ago, but also yesterday at the same time. I'm gonna start Crescent City, hopefully. I don't know about this because I don't think I've really read an urban fantasy. I think the closest thing I might have gotten to it is the Zodiac Academy, like an urban fantasy, because they have like Fae book and like whatever. Oh, talking about that makes me want to read. Should I add the 3rd book? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna actively add another book to this pile because talking about it reminded me of how much fun that's. Okay, hold on. We'll talk about this one next. Anyway, I think the only other series that I've read that's kind of giving like urban fantasy is the Zodiac Academy, because like I said, they have electronics, but it's mixed with like magic and mythical creatures and all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited. I don't know what the plot of this book is, and I don't want to. I say this for like all of Sarah J. Maas's books at this point. I don't want to know a single thing. I just want to go into it and experience it, and that's it. So that's what we're doing with this one. So then obviously, as we just saw, I pulled down Zodiac Academy, The Reckoning. This is the 3rd book in the series. I do have on my phone, I have this like reading order that I found from someone on TikTok. If I can find the screenshot, I'll put it up here just in case you are in the middle of the Zodiac Academy and like looking for a good reading order, because there are other series that are like in the same world but not necessarily part of Zodiac Academy. So this reading order specifically is like if you want to mix in all of the other series at the same time as reading Zodiac Academy instead of reading them separately. At the time, I wanted to do that, but now I'm kind of like, do I want to do that, or do I want to just read Zodiac Academy first and then do the separate ones? I don't know what would be better. If you've read the Zodiac Academy and have a preference, can you let me know what you think I will like better? Should I read, I think it's like The Boys of the Zodiac and something else, I don't know, but I think you read the first 3 books of the Zodiac Academy and then you switch to a different series and then you go back. So I don't know, but I do know I'm on this book. So good. The graphic audios for this series are so good, so I might do that and do like an immersive read and read along with the graphic audio. Especially, I remember there was a scene in the second book where they were like sitting in a college class, and it was like a astrology class, and they were describing like the way that they were projecting the galaxy above them and talking about it, and like the sound effects in that whole thing. It was so immersive and so good because I was like reading along with it. It was a good time. I'm very excited to read this. So add that to the stack. After that, we have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This one is just intimidating. Like, I want to read it so bad, but every time that I like go to pick it up, I'm like, am I mentally ready? I don't know, but I want to keep it on the shelf because I am in the mood for it. I feel like I'm gonna stay in the mood for it. It's just not so much about mood, more so about mental strength and mental capacity to deal with this. So I don't know, I feel like I've also never read an R.F. Kuang book yet, so I don't know her writing style, and I feel like that's another thing that kind of makes me intimidated about starting new books, because I'm like, is this going to be hard to understand, or is it just going to be traumatizing? Because if it's just going to be traumatizing, like, I can honestly deal with it. I'm a pro at living in denial at this point. It's my number one coping mechanism for being a fantasy reader, a fantasy lover. Living in denial with the amount of cliffhangers and character deaths that happen. I'm just like, I choose to live in a world where that did not happen. This is the next book. I, again, don't know a single thing about the plot of this book, and I don't want to. The next book we have here is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This was literally my March buddy read with my friend James. In my defense, he didn't read it either, okay? We both failed. Neither of us even started this book, so we're just gonna slide her right into April, and she's gonna become our April buddy read instead, and hopefully both of us do better this month and actually read the buddy read. I'm so sad because we've been doing so, well, I say we've been doing so good. We made it through January and February. Failed March, but hopefully we're back and better than ever in April. If you don't know what The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is about, it's essentially about this girl, well, this is what I know about the book. It's about this girl who has like a life or death something happen, and she ends up making a magical deal where she can live forever, but she will be cursed to be remembered by no one. So hundreds of years go by, and all of a sudden she runs into a man at a bookshop and he remembers her name. And so that's all I know about this. I am really excited to get to this. I just didn't last month, but she's staying on the shelf. Lastly, we have Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. Again, you know, all these, it's like I keep saying, I don't know why I didn't get to them. It's just because I didn't have time. There's just not enough time. There's so many books that I want to read and not enough time. I feel like that is the eternal curse of anyone who likes books and likes reading. It's never enough time. Anyway, I am really excited to read this book. All I know is it's kind of like witchy vibes, which I love the witchy vibes. I honestly want to read more books with witchy vibes. I think another one that I have, I think One for My Enemies, correct me if that's totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure One for My Enemies is also like, is it vampire or witchy? Hold on, because it might be more vampire vibes. I don't know. Anyway, we're talking about Kingdom of the Wicked. All I know about this one is it is about 2 twin sisters, and they're part of a big Italian family. They like run a Italian restaurant, but there are like secret magic powers, and some of the magic powers are like, you're not supposed to use them because they are evil or something like that. But one day, one of the twin sisters is found murdered, and so the other twin sister, in order to avenge her sister who was murdered, starts drawing on those evil powers or something like that, and ends up teaming with one of the princes of hell, Wrath, yes, to try and find the murderer or something like that. So it's kind of like a murder mystery magic fantasy in the city. Well, I guess this would kind of be, would this be urban fantasy because it's in New York? Is it in New York? I might have made that up. I don't really know much about what's going on, but this is how I like to go into books. I feel like sometimes I post these videos talking about the books I want to read, and people will comment and be like, do you even know what any of those are about? And I'm like, well, not really, but that's kind of the point. I just need to know the generic vibe, and I'll buy the book. I don't want to know the whole plot before I go into it. That's just me. Nevertheless, these are all the books that I am, fingers crossed, hopefully going to get to in the month of April. Obviously, seeing them all together, I feel like I'm asking for a lot here, but a girl can dream, and that's all I have to say for myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you got some good book recs, some good inspiration for books that you want to read coming up soon. Let me know, like I said, if you prefer this style of video where I just sit down and talk about strictly what books that I want to read in the upcoming month, or if you would prefer this to just be a segment in my monthly bookish wrap up, then we can continue doing it that way. But anyway, if you are going to go and purchase any of these books, make sure to check out Cooper. Like I said, everything is linked down in the description box below to download the extension for free. Other than that, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.